Peace family, how you doing? My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Ascendant Astrology, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be talking about Mercury and Gemini. And Mercury is exalted here because it's ruled by Gemini, um, which makes it just a little bit more serious and less playful and even gossipy, depending on what the gossip is. These people will tend to want to talk about helping others, planning ideas, meetings. They get very business-esque here. I am Mercury in Gemini in the ninth house. So if you've been listening to me for a while, you already know. But mhm, yeah. Mercury is the planet of communication, how you take in information, communicate, and think. It's very critical, analytical. It rules intelligence, ideas. Um, Again, you want to have the right conversations with the right people at the right time and in the right place here with this sign, with Mercury being in its own sign. They're actually not that talkative. Again, unless it's something that is with purpose here, especially with me in the ninth house, that stuff plays heavily. We're actually better listeners than we are talkers, because then we feel like if we're giving you advice or saying something back or responding in general, that we're responding with purpose. So these people actually really do take their time to think things through, as frivolous as most Geminis are portrayed to be. Believe it or not, we actually do have purpose. Who would have thunk it? Um, we want to talk about ideas better in the community and um in an intelligent way. These are great organizers and problem solvers, as all air signs are, by the way. Um, these are great journalists, public speakers, salesmen, politicians, lawyers, rappers. Most Mercury and Gemini people don't care who they are. And comedians too, believe it or not. Gemini rules comedy. You'll see a lot of people here who are rappers and comedians, poets, writers in general, so authors and audiobooks, um, and very enthusiastic speakers. They're just enthusiastic about life in general, right? That childlike energy. Um, Highly intelligent, have great ideas, they're great entrepreneurs. Um, they have to have dreams and passions that they want to accomplish over a period of time. It keeps Geminis going, much like air signs. Fire signs, they like to move a lot, but it's mental. It's in the brain. And so when they have goals and things to work on, these people are happy. Because they are constantly trying to fix something, believe it or not. Mercury, the planet Mercury, is about breaking things down and building them back up. Remember, Mercury rules the hands. And so it's about building something constructive, doing something constructive. So these are definitely your DIY folks and things of that nature. Or somebody who's gonna take the toaster apart and put it back together because it's like home appliances and things like that. Um, Constantly thinking, and they tend to work better when they have a bunch of different things to do. So They can be seen as control freaks, people who want to control everything, but actually they're better entrepreneurs of their own business because then they're responsible for everything. But it's all mental. It's all about what's in their head and what they believe to be true. But it keeps their mind. That's how it's like a form of meditation for Geminis to have 101 things to do because it's like, oh, my mind will shut the fuck up if I have something to do. Ah, that's so crazy. Which, by the way, I'm losing my fucking mind with these fucking retrogrades, and I don't have anything to do, or I have to do them at a slower pace, or even the lessons that I have to learn over these last freaking few months since August with Mars and Gemini. First of all, it's disrespectful, okay? But essentially, that's the lesson that Mercury and Gemini people have to learn is that they can't do everything themselves because they tend to burn out a lot, or they're overwhelmed with thoughts and like anxiety. And so you need help, you need support, um, and having people help with other different responsibilities, which is where that Virgo piece comes in and why it's so important when you're at work to have people who write the book of, what's your responsibilities and what you're supposed to do. And Mercury and Gemini people are actually great trainers for those books, right? So you have to read them as the employee or employer, well, employee. And then a Mercury and Gemini person will be a great trainer because they've done it all. Right. And so they can tell you exactly how and what to do from their perspective. And that's why you'll always hear people say when they're training, now you can do this any way that you want, whichever way is best for you. But in some way, form, or fashion, these are the responsibilities that you should do to help you with, right? Um, I went on a whole tangent there. But yeah, you might study on the side or have a side hustle or a few different uh, jobs or projects specifically. Um, and they're always on top of things, organized, and they have things in order. And they can be very dignified in their communication too, meaning they are not in the I told you so energy, but they'll be thinking it, right? And so these people, again, because they have their hands in a little bit of everything, the jack of all trades. And I'm going to stop saying master of none because you can always master all. Everybody has several different talents, and you have a lifetime to master those talents. And most people do and will, others not always because of the world that we live in. But if you overcome some of the lack mindset of this lovely world that we live in, you can do it. But they are they have a little bit of knowledge of everything because they're always doing something. And so a lot of the times these people will have experiences where they'll tell somebody something, specifically if asked, but even in general. And then somebody will come back and be like, remember when you said such and such and such? And, and a Gemini person will be like, okay. But in our minds, we're thinking, I told you that, girl. I don't know why you tripping. No. Um, I happen to find myself in those situations of that, but we're not the type of people, very humbled in that way. We're not the type of people to say, I told you so, or throw things back in other people's faces. Because we only just so happen to know by hapstance anyways, but it also matters, how you define intelligence. So, and that can become a longer story, so I'm gonna shut up right there. Um, they can be people who won't waste their time speaking to unintelligent people. Another way to think about that is really small-minded conversations, everyday to day conversations, which is something Gemini also rules, by the way. And so, but believe it or not, when your Mercury is in its home sign, it changes the dynamics of what you might feed into, especially depending on what house it's in, right? And so they don't want to waste their time having mindless conversations. They'll be more of a listener than they are a talker when it comes to those types of things. Um, they probably aren't the people who are going to be on social media often unless it's something meaningful. Or again, that's solving a problem or giving really good advice. They can manipulate people. They do have the ability, because they are such great listeners, to get people to do things that they want through their communication style. They're just really amazing at getting things out of people. Um, Especially the men, I think, more than anything. And they like tell great jokes. I think I mentioned that. Gemini also comedy, but it's just the way that I don't know how. I mean, they always say Geminis are so flirty. I think I will relate it to that. They're just very relatable, but they also make it in a very funny, jokingly kind of way. And so that makes them really good at getting information out of people, even if they're not trying. In fact, I don't think that they are. I think it's just their natural state of being, but they always tend to have that, or they might even hear people say that a lot, like, why am I even telling you this? I know it happens to me a lot. Um, but yeah. Family. This is my interpretation of Mercury and Gemini. As usual, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.